Good afternoon and welcome to the first episode of QTV. Q 2025 is officially kicking off with the National Festival starting today in its 51 years. Today we have Andile Nduna, Communications Manager for the Department of Sports, Recreational Arts and Culture. That mouthful, DISREC, as you may know. So Andile is here to tell us about the festival. Andile, good afternoon and thank you for coming to Q.
Good afternoon, Bali. Thank you for having us, and it's really a great pleasure to be here.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time. Andile, having been part of the festival for such a long time, what can you tell us about what to expect in the 51 edition of the Arts Festival?
Um, Last year saw a milestone of the festival, being it the 50th, that is the Jubilee. So what we as a department planned is that the first year after the Jubilee will actually make something impactful, you know. For instance, in the past, when government was part of the festival, we never used to capture the how artists get to be at the festival in terms of auditions, in terms of selections. But we proposed this year that we will do auditions. We will go to every district. We'll go to all the 8 districts of the province to make sure that we get poets, we get crafters to actually exhibit and show us their work, and then we choose the work that can actually make it to the festival. So we actually were deliberate with that through our literature festival, through our crafters village green exhibitions. So there's been a lot of work that was done in the past 3 months to get us to be where we are today. And we're actually looking forward to see the display, how our artists are being received in the 51st National Arts Festival. And also, we're also excited to hear that there's a performance on Igwijo of the National Arts Festival. It's something that is pulling my heartstrings because we grew up in Igwijo, so we know what Igwijo is about.
Yes.
We have seen Igwijo actually more on the sporting front recently through the Springboks than we have seen it on arts and culture, although it is arts and culture in its nature. So it's exciting to be part of a festival that's going to be displaying and showing all of that.
Oh, awesome. Anila, you speak about going out into communities. Have you guys been working through your different branches across the province to actually source the different talent? Can we be expecting raw talent that's never been seen before? Or is there a lot of repetition from previous years? What can you say with regards to that?
Um, what is happening this year as DESRAC? We are commemorating the 150th year of SCK Mkai. So what we did with our imbongi and poets, was to commission them to relate their story or do imibongo on SCK Mkai. So that on its own is actually a new direction that we've taken as a department. Was where we've never themed or centered our productions or our imbongi or poets around a certain theme. They would come as they would like, present whatever they would like. But we thought we should theme them, not because we wanted it to be easy for the judges, but we also wanted that we actually make sure that the messaging around Umkai, whom Kai was, is actually sent across our districts. And yes, we actually worked with our districts in the different, our district offices in the different districts to make sure that, firstly, we know who the artists are. Secondly, they get to be part of the auditions in terms of yielding to the call, submitting their works, and coming through for the actual auditions.
Oh, awesome. That sounds super amazing. Sounds very costly as well. Can you please tell us about your budget? How much has that really affected how much you pour into the festival, especially because now you have started at such an advanced stage? And is that more in terms of budget allocation from what was spent in previous years?
Um, Actually, when we hear that the government purse is shrinking, it truly is. Um, but for the festival, Department of Sport,
But for the festival, there's budget, eh?
Well, the department has invested 14 million for the festival, and it has been that amount for the good year now, for actually for 23 years, run about that amount. And it has gone through everything from making sure that artists come through transportation, accommodation, they perform their works and everything. But also, you must remember when a crafter, for instance, brings their work, their beads into the festival, um, there's a hope that there's going to be a market. People are going to buy. Uh, but, 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 but that crafter has also got to be paid.
Yes.
You know, so you'll find that, and then the money that they make from the works, it goes to them, but they also get to be paid. That's basically what we feel is helping our artists and the crafters in that regard, because when they come through and perform at the National Arts Festival stages, they know that they'll be seen, they'll be exposed, they are being recognized. But at the same time, they've got to have an incentive to actually do those and be part of those stages.
Tell us about the Literature Festival. I've seen a lot of hype around that.
Yeah.
It sounds very exciting. Beautiful lineup. I hear there's also a collaboration of lots of music
Yeah.
and literature combination there. What can we expect from that?
We are very excited about the Literature Festival, also called LitFest. Um, this year, it was also part of our plan to reimagine it, revitalize it. For instance, we have Dr. Gani coming through. Dr. Gani will be joined by a whole host of other artists, legends, in fact. Okaya Zanga coming through, Unati Mangai is coming through. But what Dr. Nkani will be doing specifically, and he requested to do this, is master classes. He'll be doing a 3 day master class, focusing on artists, because he's at a stage in his career where he feels a need to plow back.
Yes.
We know how elaborate his career is, a
Very
legend.
decorated.
Actually, I shouldn't even be calling Dr. Khan. He's John Khan, because he was knighted a few months back. So John Khan will be here, and also we are happy that he's joining us, because we also want him to do a tribute on Athol Fogat, because Athol Fogat passed on, I think in March or April this year. So and Athol Fogat was a dear friend of Sekani. So we also want him to do a tribute on Athol Fogat, because of their working relations, brotherhood, and everything related to that. So we're excited to have him joining us as part of the Lead Fest. We also have Bongeziwe Mabandla, who will be actually performing on the 27th as part of the official opening. Although that show is ticketed, but we do feel that it's not every day that you can get to listen to Bongeziwe Mabandla, and because he is a brand on his own, hence the price tag on that show. And also we're looking forward to the financial literature. There's going to be financial literacy on tomorrow, actually tomorrow and tomorrow morning. That is a brainchild of the fact that we have seen that most of our artists, they tend towards the expiry time of their careers to be without. People who've entertained us on our TVs, we have heard them sing on the stages, but when their lives, or when their time on stage is coming to an end, you'll find that, as they say, they die poor. So we feel that as an investment to the work that they give us, or the entertainment that they give us, we take artists through financial education. And that is being sponsored by Old Mutual. So we're looking forward to that as well, because we have done actually a call out specifically to that financial education that is going to be done, because we want as many artists as possible to come through and to be taught about financial management.
That is brilliant and so true as well, because you find that a lot of the time artists die as paupers. But what are we doing in that regard, particularly for artists that cannot make it to the festival? Is the department having any partnerships with Metropolitan to extend that into other community artists just to raise awareness about that?
Actually, there is talk. We feel that the National Arts Festival stage is a good,
Launching pad.
launching pad for it, and then we check the response, and then from there, we could definitely roll it out throughout the province. Um, Hopefully, other provinces will also catch on it and also do it as a way of educating our artists as well. And also, as part of Litfest, I can't forget this one. It's the Kiddies Corner. Nalibali will be joining.
Super cool.
Yeah,
That is super
Nalibali will be
awesome.
joining us on the Kiddies Corner. And that's exciting because, I mean, schools are closing and sometimes kids don't know what to do, and with parents who don't know how to drag our kids to be doing what we're doing. So Nalibali will be taking care of kids through Kiddies Corner as well.
Oh, that sounds super awesome.
Definitely.
So, with regards to artists, do you know or do you have an idea of what the ratio typically is throughout the festival? Of how many come as dancers or crafters or production? If there is
Yeah.
anything that speaks to that.
Actually, anything closer to that is the kind of um, genres they come in terms of dance or musicals or whatever. But in terms of breakdown, for instance, where they come from or anything, we don't have that kind of information, especially for the artists who are coming from outside the province. Remember, our mandate makes us look at within the Eastern Cape because we are answerable to or will report on the artists who are assisting or developing within the Eastern Cape.
Anything else you'd like to add before we conclude this super exciting session? So informative, so passionate, speaking about the arts, looking very artistic yourself,
Well,
if I may say.
thank you so much. Thank you so
I'm
much.
sure there are some fashionistas out there as well that are going to be selling some super awesome crafts.
I'm actually looking forward. I saw some jackets at the stall. I'm actually looking forward to checking some jackets. I think I'm at a phase at a stage where I'm looking at the jacket. We would say okay, the jackets are makwala, but I'm going through that phase. I think I'm going through that phase. But
It's just one of those.
yeah, it's one of those. But quite honestly, I've been part of the National Arts Festival as a government official, and also before I was even a government official, I would come to Makanda for the Arts Festival. So I always feel it's one of those spaces where you find anything and everything, and it's always great. The vibe around Makanda this time, you don't find it anywhere else. It's always lovely. I mean, even the fact that it is cold. It's not stopping
Someone
the
that
festival.
appreciates the call.
Exactly. It doesn't stop anyone from coming. I mean, we know it
That's
gets
true.
cold, but it doesn't stop anyone from coming. It's always great to be part of the arts festival.
You touched on something I want to go back on. Since you are from Makanda, what has it been like for you to transition as someone growing up in the town, now coming back as an official that is very responsible for the biggest festival that happens in this town? What does that feel like? And what is your fondest memory of when you are still a child, being a Makandanian from back in the day? And, those are two questions, by the way.
I had to reflect on my memory as I was driving here this morning. The best one for me was when we would chase donkey carts.
How did I know you'd say that?
Yeah, it was the best memory for me. Because for the longest of time growing up, we thought that the donkey carts are part of the festival. We thought they're being, brought along so that they can actually, entertain us. So chasing them was actually its fondest memory. But
So I guess it was your idea to have the donkeys part of the official opening with the police there.
But quite honestly, though, I mean, from now, even just now, we're from a media briefing. We've always had that media briefing as part of tradition to inform the public how ready we are for the festival. But for the longest of time, it never was open to artists. And that for me never really made sense, that we will talk on the state of readiness, but we don't bring the people we are here for to be part of that media briefing and have their say. Because, being an artist, it's a calling. It's not just about entertaining people for the fun of it and getting, it's deeper than that. And I always have this conviction that they must be known. The work that they do must be known, where they are found. What is it like to be them? What is it like to do what they are doing day in and day out, and not even yield to the pressures out there, not even yield to the temptations of a lavish life, but do what you're doing because of the love of it. That for me is always taken me aback to say, they've got to be part of the mainstream. They've got to be known. If we've got Imbongi that is part of the festival, that Mbongi must be known. What he's here and how did he get here? If you have Usekani coming through, people through the media, he's got to be know the work that he's done for him to be actually here. What makes him to want to give back? For me, it is those stories that are told by the artists when they come to this stage that always I feel is priceless.
Oh, super cool. Well, before we wrap it up, I just want to touch on festival before COVID and where we're at now. How has the transition been as someone who's actually been here throughout that period? And what has the constraints been like for government to help the transition not be as what it used to be?
Well, I think that the best decision ever made during COVID was not to stop the show. I think for me that was the best decision. Yes, it was accessible online, but the show went on. Remember, COVID was not allowing us to interact, was not allowing us to, but the festival kept going on and connecting us, and through that, some artists made a living. Remember how hard COVID was.
It's difficult.
COVID was hectic. Yes, there's been impact post-COVID in terms of numbers. And I think that impact is not just because of COVID. We've seen a lot of economic changes. A loaf of bread is not the same.
Huh?
Yeah, a loaf of bread is not the same. So that affects even people who would come to the festival for 10 days. We see them cutting the visits, cutting their days, the spend they would have outside the shows. We see a cut in that as well. So there's a lot. And it's expected to happen. I mean, a festival that has been going on for 51 years, a lot happens in that space of time. I know festivals who have never lasted 5 years. So it just shows, the strength of this festival, the support this festival enjoys, and how impactful it has been.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. You've heard it first from Andile Nduna, talking about everything that the festival has to offer, from all the food gardens that we're going to expect and all the wonderful shows and productions. It's going to be an amazing 10 days of art festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I actually forgot to ask about the beer tent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was it? Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, public.